I've been having so much fun cooking lately. I am attempting my most ambitious recipe this week. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Milan. I recently graduated from college and started my first full-time job. I make vlogs and lifestyle content on my channel, so if you're interested, I hope you'll say hi and stick around. This week I wanted to do a little bit of a different video. I've been having so much fun cooking lately, and so I thought I would do a what I cook in a week video. I personally love watching these videos because they give me so much inspiration for what I want to cook and incorporate into my meal plan for the week, so I thought that I would share with you guys. Before I get started, I did want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I know that food and health topics can be really sensitive for some people, so if this is not the video for you, please feel free to click off of it. I will not be offended. I just have a couple of notes before we get started. The first thing is that I eat mostly plant-based, but do incorporate a little bit of poultry into my diet. That's just what works for me, so you'll be seeing a lot of vegetarian recipes throughout the week. We try to stay pretty healthy, but I'm definitely not an expert, so please don't take this as any prescription of like what you should or shouldn't be eating. These are just some of the recipes that I cook throughout the week, and I wanted to share for some inspiration for you guys. And second of all, I do meal prep for two. It's me and my boyfriend, so a lot of the quantities of groceries and food we're cooking are pretty large. That's just because there are two of us and we like to eat a lot, so if you are meal prepping or cooking for one, that's just something you might want to keep in mind. If you're trying to replicate any of these recipes, I'm probably going to be cooking like twice as much as you need to. I know meal prepping for one can be really difficult, so that's just something to keep in mind. And then lastly, I realized while I was filming this video that a lot of recipes I'm using are out of cookbooks. Because of that, I unfortunately cannot link the recipes down below, but I've linked all the cookbooks I use throughout the video and then similar recipes, so at least you'll have those for inspiration or as a resource to use. I think that's all I have to say, so let's go ahead and get cooking. Before I show you everything I cook, I thought I should give some insight into our meal planning and grocery shopping process. What works for us in terms of meal planning is planning a breakfast we can prep at the beginning of the week and then 3 or 4 dinners to cook throughout the week. I mostly get my meal inspiration from family recipes I've collected over the years, online, and from my very quickly growing cookbook collection. I've been trying to expand my cooking repertoire and cook a lot of new recipes lately, so that's what I'm trying to do this week. Once I figure out everything I'm cooking, I write it down and base my grocery list off of that and what we have in the fridge, and then we're good to go from there. Kev and I are getting ready to do our grocery shopping, so I actually wanted to stop for a minute and talk about where we do our shopping because I think that's important context too. I just want to say I know I am not perfect, but I try the very best I can to make conscious decisions about where I'm shopping. I know for us, a lot of our money goes into grocery shopping, and so I really prefer to support local stores and buy local produce. We have 2 normal grocery stores that we usually go to. One of them is smaller. It's a local co-op, has really great local produce and a lot of more like niche health items. The other place is more of a standard like big box grocery store, but it is like a local chain. I like that grocery store because they also source a lot of local produce and products. So much of our money goes to grocery stores, and so I just like to support local where I can. With that said, obviously we're also thinking a lot about money, and so we do go to Costco probably about once a month to buy some things in bulk. Today we're gonna go to Costco and then probably Metcalfe's, which is the local like more normal grocery store because I need some standard stuff. So that's the plan, and we're gonna head out soon. We are finally home from the grocery store, so I'm going to show you what we got. Starting with Costco, we just got a bunch of stuff that we eat a lot of. So broccoli florets, this honey, which I use in a lot of baking recipes, these vegetable yakisoba, which Kev really likes. They're frozen and easy to heat up for a little snack. Some dried mango, almond flour, which I also use for baking, and then these chicken meatballs that we really like. We also got a massive thing of Spindrift because I like to drink this in the afternoon at work. It just keeps me awake. So we got a bunch of those because they're way cheaper in bulk. Then we got most of our groceries at Metcalfe's, which is the normal grocery store. So starting with produce, a lot of produce for recipes this week. So I have red peppers, a Granny Smith apple, 2 Honeycrisp apples, mushrooms, onion, potato, some parsley, frozen artichokes, and green peas. And then we have some chicken stock, ketchup, we were out of ketchup, Kalamata olives, 2% milk, half and half, unsalted butter, a bunch of Chobani and Noosa yogurts, some more tortillas. Our favorite sun chips, the garden salsa, are amazing. Orecchiette for a pasta recipe, arborio rice, this rice pilaf, which Kev likes, and a bunch of flapjacks, and then some ginger beer. I would say that's a pretty standard grocery haul for us. We probably spent, my guess is around $130 on groceries. We got some other stuff at Costco, so it's sort of hard to tell exactly how much we spent on food, but yeah, I would say that's pretty average for the two of us. We do eat a lot of food and like cooking, so that's our week's grocery haul. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning and I'm actually gonna make breakfast burritos this morning. I'd planned to make breakfast burritos last week as part of our meal prep, but we ended up eating cake for breakfast, full transparency, all week because I made a banana cake. And so we never made the breakfast burritos. So I figured I'm gonna make muffins this week, but I also thought that I would just make some breakfast burritos so that we have them to eat throughout the week, because it's nice to have a little bit of variety and not have to eat the same exact thing every morning. So that's what we're gonna do. So for these breakfast burritos, I'm gonna use flour tortillas, and then I got this potatoes O'Brien. These are nice because it's potatoes, but they also have onions and peppers in them, so I don't have to dice up any onions or peppers or anything to add them in. Eggs, we get local eggs, and then this for me is a veggie sausage. This is my favorite veggie sausage. I've talked about it before. It's a Gimme Lean plant-based sausage from Light Life. For Kevin, I had just have some leftover chicken sausage, and then obviously I'm gonna use some cheddar cheese. I also just found some leftover tomatoes in the fridge. Kevin doesn't like tomatoes, so I'm just gonna use these for me so they don't go to waste. To make these breakfast burritos, I'm just scrambling eggs and cooking all the component parts according to their directions, and then really all you have to do is assemble the burritos. You do have to make sure to let the ingredients cool before wrapping the burritos, because if you don't, they can get really soggy from all the steam, but otherwise they can just be wrapped up in aluminum foil and thrown in the freezer to eat whenever you're ready to. It is Sunday evening and I'm gonna make muffins. I'm using a recipe from this cookbook. It's called Run Fast, Cook Fast, Eat Slow by Shailene Flanagan, who is a runner. The recipe I use is for the carrot apple superhero muffins. Kevin and I both really like these and they're super healthy, great for snacks, breakfast, everything. I'm gonna make those tonight so that we have them for the rest of the week to eat. Should be good. I've done this recipe so many times, like I basically know it by heart, so good news for me. So today is Monday and I am attempting my most ambitious recipe this week, which honestly probably was not a great idea for a Monday because I am already struggling. I forgot to defrost some stuff and it's just, you know, not going quite to plan, but we're gonna push through. I'm going to make some adjustments to the recipe because I realized that I don't have a Dutch oven that's big enough to make this. Yeah, that's just how it is. So I think I'm gonna try to make it all on the stovetop. Back already? You caught me in the middle of filming about our dinner.
Oh, nice. Hi.
Kevin says hi. I don't even remember what I was saying. So I'm gonna try to make it all on the stovetop and we're just gonna see how it goes. I don't know if it's gonna go very well. Okay, paella update. It was actually pretty good and I think I did a really good job considering it was my first time making the recipe. The recipe was very complicated and I had to adapt the recipe because I didn't have the right pot. The one issue is that it called for frozen artichokes and we could only find one kind of frozen artichoke in the store and they were like not good. Like they did not taste flavorful at all. So that was kind of a downer because obviously if you're making like a vegetarian dish, you want those flavors like the artichokes and the olives to kind of stand out. So everything was great. The mix of vegetables was good. I didn't include fennel, which the recipe called for because I don't like fennel, but everything else I think I included. And it all tasted really good together and it would have been really yummy had the artichokes been good, but the artichokes were just super bland and like really not doing anything for us. So overall, okay dinner. Not the best thing I've ever made, but I don't think that was like my fault. Kind of a win, kind of a loss, kind of an in-between, but I'm very glad I tried it. it's definitely showing me that I'm getting better at cooking, which is good to feel at least. So I probably will not be cooking again until dinner tomorrow night, so I will see you then. For dinner this evening, I decided to make a Basque bean recipe out of my moosewood cookbook. It was a super easy recipe. All I had to do was saute leeks and garlic, add some sherry and other seasonings, and then the recipe calls for a can of diced tomatoes and a can of cannellini beans. And then you basically just let it simmer and add some spinach at the end to wilt in there. We served it over pearl couscous topped with feta, and it was delicious. It is Tuesday night. It is actually pretty late right now. I had to cook dinner really quickly after work and my run because Kevin has tennis on Tuesday nights, and so I always try to cook dinner before he leaves so that he can eat. Actually, it made a bean dish for dinner. I know some people don't like beans. I actually really like beans, but I never know how to cook them as like a main dish. So I decided to make a Basque bean recipe from my moosewood cookbook, and it was so good. The recipe had leeks, tomatoes, beans, and spinach, and then a bunch of other like spices, seasonings, that kind of stuff, and it was really yummy. We ate it over pearl couscous. Kevin actually made some chicken to go on the side. It was a really yummy dinner. I was just telling Kevin how I love that moosewood sort of designs their recipes so that the food you're eating is really satisfying. I know that's sometimes an issue that I have when I'm eating plant-based dinners is that I don't necessarily feel satisfied with my meal, but with all of the moosewood recipes, like I never have that problem. So really yummy. Wednesday night is usually our date night, so I probably won't be cooking at all tomorrow. We still have tons and tons of leftovers in the fridge. We've had so many leftovers from last week and this week too. It's like actually ridiculous. I don't know why my like portion sizes have been so off, but so many leftovers in the fridge. So I probably won't see you guys tomorrow, but Thursday I will be cooking again, so I'll see you then. On Thursday, I did not particularly feel like talking to the camera, but I decided to make another easy recipe out of the moosewood cookbook, just a quick pea and onion pasta. The recipe basically involves sauteing the ingredients and adding pasta, but I decided to add some additional seasonings to what the recipe called for, and we ate it with orecchiette topped with parm and parsley because I love a good fresh herb. Honestly, this looks really pretty and tasted fresh, but it wasn't the most satisfying meal. I just got out of bed, which is why I look like this, but I decided to make Kevin and I a little bit of a breakfast hash. There's this restaurant called the Waffle Shop back home in our college town that we both really loved, and they made the best breakfast hash, so decided I wanted to recreate it this morning, so that's what we're having for breakfast. I would honestly kill for a Waffle Shop nest egg, but to make my own, I'm just prepping all the ingredients. Usually I use some sort of frozen breakfast potatoes, chop up some broccoli and whatever mushrooms we have in the fridge, fry that all up along with a couple of eggs, and then top it with cheddar cheese. It is Saturday evening. I honestly keep forgetting that I'm filming this video, so this clip is a little bit rushed, but I'm about to cook dinner. We just have a bunch of leftover stuff in the fridge that needs to be used, so I'm gonna make like a Power Bowl type situation with leftover broccoli and meatballs. I also decided I wanted to make pumpkin bread because my lovely friend Anna sent me a recipe that I've never tried before. I've been searching for a good pumpkin bread recipe, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and try that as well, and we'll see how it goes. Here's my little dinner bowl with Costco meatballs. Did not make those for sure, but I did roast some broccoli, and then there's some brown rice under there that you can't really see. Here's how the pumpkin bread's coming. Here's the pumpkin bread. The recipe actually said it makes 2 loaves, but I only have 1 loaf pan, and I didn't want to have extra batter left over that I was gonna have to bake again. So I cut the recipe in half, and the proportions of some of the things are kind of weird. Like I was supposed to have 1.5 eggs, but we're just gonna see how it turns out. It honestly doesn't look like it's that much in there, so maybe next time I'll be able to double the recipe, but we'll see how much it rises in the oven. So I'm gonna pop that in right now. I didn't recap this recipe on camera, but the pumpkin bread turned out really well despite having to do some odd math to cut the proportions in half. I've been searching for a good pumpkin bread recipe for a while now, and this is my favorite I've found, so thank you so much, Anna, for sending it to me. So that's everything I cooked this week. If you decide to make any of these recipes yourself, please let me know. I hope that I've provided at least a little bit of cooking inspiration if you needed some in your life. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you again soon. Bye.